God of War Ragnarok, everything we know so far. God of War Ragnarok is officially coming this November. Ragnarok is coming. God of War Ragnarok has gone gold. Santa Monica Studio confirms that the highly anticipated God of War Ragnarok has gone gold ahead of its release early next month. Great news, PlayStation fans! God of War Ragnarok has gone gold, meaning that the game has finished development and is ready to be shipped. We've been anticipating this announcement for a while now, and it's arrived at a good time, with the game set to release in just over a month, on the November 9th. It's the second and final God of War game set in Norse mythology, marking the end of this chapter of Kratos' story. God of War Ragnarok was originally announced at a PlayStation Showcase event in 2020. The short teaser simply featured a logo and a 2021 release window, and some fans predicted that it would get delayed due to Sony not showing any gameplay footage. Sony revealed God of War Ragnarok's release date in July 2022 and reiterated that the game would not get delayed any further. It's now confirmed that God of War Ragnarok will launch next month on PlayStation consoles. God of War Ragnarok is just a month away now, and boy, are we ready to rejoin Kratos and Atreus on their latest adventure. This is one of the most anticipated new games for 2022, and every trailer we've seen has only heightened that. Originally revealed for the first time during the PS5 showcase in 2021, we've since learned more about the game's accessibility features, got a release date reveal with a cinematic trailer, and saw the reveal of a collector's edition set and a new limited edition DualSense controller. As we get closer to the launch date, the story trailer has also given us more to dig into. Read on below to find out everything we know so far about God of War Ragnarok, from story details to characters and more. God of War Ragnarok release date. After an initial delay that put God of War Ragnarok in a 2022 launch window, Sony Santa Monica Studios has announced it will officially be released on November 9, 2022. The news came by way of a surprise drop of a short father and son cinematic trailer, showing Kratos and Atreus facing up against a very large wolf. God of War Ragnarok story. The God of War Ragnarok reveal trailer gave us a good idea of what to expect from the story. Years have passed since the end of 2018's God of War, evidenced by an older, more confident Atreus whose giant genes are starting to show. Together, father and son must face the impending Ragnarok, the legendary Norse version of an apocalypse facing the enemies they made in God of War like Freya, new ones like Thor, and more as Kratos wrestles with his son's rebellious streak and his knowledge of who Atreus really is. The story will take place across the 9 realms. You only saw 6 in God of War, adding Vanaheim, Svartalfheim, and Asgard to the mix. The trailer also introduces some intriguing new characters like Androbota, who developer Sony Santa Monica has said is one of the last remaining giants. That big guy at the end? That's Tyr, son of Odin, half-brother of Thor and Baldur, but is imprisoned by his own father and so will likely to want to settle the score with Daddy. Story details appeared in a PlayStation Store listing description for God of War Ragnarok. Most notably, it once again reiterates that we'll be visiting all 9 realms as Kratos and Atreus. Fimbulwinter is well underway. Kratos and Atreus must journey to each of the 9 realms in search of answers as Asgardian forces prepare for a prophesied battle that will end the world, the description reads. Along the way, they will explore stunning, mythical landscapes and face fearsome enemies in the form of Norse gods and monsters. The threat of Ragnarok grows ever closer. Kratos and Atreus must choose between their own safety and the safety of the realms. The latest story trailer debuted during the September 2022 State of Play showcase to the delight of fans everywhere. What was shown certainly gave us plenty to look at, and a better sense of the story's focus. The relationship between Kratos and Atreus is at the heart of the trailer, and you get the sense that there's definitely some growing tension between the pair as it develops. Interestingly, it opens on Atreus touching a tree, which mirrors the beginning of the God of War. Now that Atreus is growing up and getting older, he seems to have different ideas about what they should be doing and expresses a desire to be the protector now. There's also a lot of focus on the idea of fate and how we can let ourselves become bound to it if we don't try to steer our own destiny. This is doubly interesting when you consider who Atreus really is, which is revealed at the close of God of War. Will he live up to that name or make his own destiny, as Kratos declares? We also see some very large wolves that appear to have ties to Atreus, with the boy shooting an arrow that literally cuts through the sky in spectacular fashion and seemingly changes day into night as a wolf follows the arrow. Interestingly, the release date trailer teased a large Fenrir-like wolf facing the pair to see out the cinematic sequences. Of course, we also know the pair will be facing many enemies and challenges, and we get to see Kratos trade blows with Thor at the close of the story trailer. Recently, the Entertainment Software Rating Board, or the ESRB, unveiled God of War Ragnarok's rating to be mature for blood and gore, intense violence, and strong language, as mentioned in the summary showcased on its webpage. This is an action-adventure game in which players help Kratos and his son on a dangerous quest. Players explore various realms and engage in frenetic hand-to-hand combat against human-like raiders and fantastical creatures, example, centaurs, trolls, dragons. Players use axes and chained blades to battle enemies, often resulting in large blood splatter effects and dismemberment. Players can perform finishing attacks that depict close-up impalement via bladed and handheld weapons. Repeated axe strikes to a creature's neck results in decapitation. The words F***K and SH**T are heard in the game. God of War Ragnarok gameplay. The story trailer also gave us some glimpses of combat, with Kratos wielding various weapons against enemies of all shapes and sizes. We see Kratos wield his signature blades of chaos on the battlefield, bash up against a foe with a shield, and hack away with an axe as he dodges and dives away from various dangers in a variety of locations in the Norse realms. With the appearance of several different colossal-sized creatures and notable figures such as Thor, it looks as though we're going to have some memorable battles in store with different weapons to play around with. We also see Kratos catapult across a platform using a grappling-style chain to deliver a hefty blow to nearby enemies, and Atreus can be seen joining the battlefield in several instances just like God of War. What God of War's ending might mean for Ragnarok. Spoilers. At the end of 2018's God of War, Kratos and Atreus discover that Faye, aka Mrs. Kratos, was actually a giant called Laufey, making Atreus half god and half giant, and with another name, Loki. Yes, that Loki, the one from Norse mythology who is often portrayed as a trickster, sometimes with shapeshifting abilities. God of War played pretty fast and loose with Norse mythology, but could offer some hints as to what's to come. Once that big revelation is out of the way, we're told Fimbulwinter is coming. If you skipped your Norse mythology class, shame on you, then know that this is a 3-year great winter that precedes Ragnarok, the Norse apocalypse. Post-credits, there's a second ending when you return home and, there, Thor appears several years later. It's a brief tease, ending after Kratos asks him what he wants. It could be that Thor wants revenge for that whole Kratos killing his son's thing, or he might want his help stopping Ragnarok. God of War Ragnarok cast. The incredible Christopher Judge returns as Kratos with Sonny Suljic as Atreus. You can check out the rest of the cast below, with some familiar faces, and some new characters whose part of play in the Norse saga remains to be seen. Notable additions include Richard Schiff, Toby Ziegler on The West Wing, as Odin and Ryan Hurst, Beta on The Walking Dead, as Thor. Freya, Danielle Baisudi. Thor, Ryan Hurst. Odin, Richard Schiff. And Roboda, Leia Hayes. Tyr, Ben Prendergast. Mimir, Alistair Duncan. Sindri, Adam Harrington. Brock, Robert Craighead. Derlin, Usman Ally. God of War Ragnarok reveal trailer. God of War Ragnarok made its debut at the 2021 PS5 showcase with a brief and cryptic teaser trailer. We don't actually see any footage of the game, just a Norse symbol and the confirmation that Ragnarok is coming. You can also hear Kratos in the background warning Atreus as well as us unsuspecting viewers that we must prepare ourselves. It turns out we knew the name of the game all along. God of War Ragnarok game director. God of War made its game director Cory Barlog internet famous, but for the new game Eric Williams is taking on the role. He's worked on the God of War series since 2004, and explained what his new position means for the series in a recent interview. "Staying true to what we did last time, it's keeping the father-son relationship moving," explains Williams. "It doesn't just stop, like, oh, we finished this for mom, we're good. No, like, there's a lot more that goes on in life, and it continues moving forward. Last time, it was one kid with a lot of adults talking. This is like, well, there are some different perspectives. We're gonna see it from a kid's perspective in the world, figuring things out that they thought were black and white, or maybe much more gray, and a lot more family dynamics."